Hello there. I was thinking that today, that perhaps I'd make good on that promise that I made you. So I've just been hanging around out here till you got home.
You're sounding a little bit like you know where I've been all day. Would you mind explaining that to me?
If it's possible, do you think you might have a little time to spare for me right now?
Is it something to do with Miss Suzumiya?
It's something to do with Miss Suzumiya.
It's pretty amazing that this taxi just showed up just when you needed it.
Yeah, weird. So the other day you were asking me to show you some proof that I'm an Esper. Still want to see it? That perfect opportunity I was talking about's popped up, so I thought I'd have you join me.
Why do we need to go so far out of town just to do this?
We're gonna have to drive a little ways if you want to see my abilities as an Esper. It's timing, really. A certain place, the right conditions. So now we're heading out towards just such a location that meets all the requirements in exactly the right ways.
Do you still think that Haruhi is some kind of god or something?
Let me ask you this. Do you know what the anthropic principle is?
Nope, never heard of it.
Okay, here it goes. Basically, this is the theory that the universe is the way it is right now simply because human beings can observe it and determine that it is the way it is. So did you get all that?
I didn't get any of it.
How about I observe, therefore the universe is? Or something along those lines. In other words, on this particular world, there are sentient beings that are called humans. Now then, by discovering the laws of physics and constants, human beings can observe the fact that the universe actually exists at all. When that happens, the existence of the universe becomes apparent. Therefore, we can say, if the human beings who observed the universe hadn't actually evolved as far as they did, and then there wouldn't be any of observations, and the universe wouldn't have anyone to acknowledge its existence. So it wouldn't really matter if the universe existed or not. The universe is because human beings know it is. Anyway, that's the reasoning from the human perspective.
You're kidding, right? I mean, even with or without humans, the universe is still the universe.
Well, that's also correct. Therefore, the anthropic principle isn't anything more than a speculative theory. However, this theory does bring up an interesting dilemma. Why was the universe created in such a way that human beings could survive it? It would only take a slight change in the gravitational constant or particle mass ratio for the universe to not allow a planet like the Earth to exist.
Okay, you sound like one of those pamphlets from some kooky religion that's into science and technology.
Actually, I don't really believe that humans were created by a god or some omnipotent being. With all I've seen, something like that just doesn't make sense. I say that, but I still have doubts.
About what?
Sometimes I get the feeling that we're all just a bunch of clowns standing on our tiptoes at the edge of a great abyss. No, I'm just kidding.
Look, I don't understand a thing that you just said.
The reason I went into that whole anthropic principle thing was to draw a comparison. I haven't even gotten to Miss Suzumiya yet.
And that's another thing. Why are you Nagato and Miss Asahina all so obsessed with Haruhi?
Well, I can't speak for the others, but I think she's charming. Anyway, let's get back to business. I was wondering if you remember the stuff I once explained to you about how the world may have been in fact been created by Miss Suzumiya.
Although it's annoying as hell, yeah, I do remember you saying that.
She has the power to turn anything she wishes for into a reality.
Oh, come on, you can't seriously believe that's true.
Miss Suzumiya was positive that aliens existed, and then she wished that there was such a thing. That's why Yuki Nagato's here. She wanted to meet people from the future, so she wished for that too. And that's why Mikuru Asahina showed up here. And as for myself, she wished for Espers to be a reality, and lo and behold, here I am at your service, sir.
Like I said, how do you know all this anyways?
Well, about 3 years ago...
I'm a little sick of hearing this 3 years ago crap.
3 years ago, and without any warning, I just knew I had these powers. And I also knew how I should use them. And I wasn't alone. There were other people who had the same experience as me at the same time. And get this. All of us knew that Haruhi Suzumiya was the reason for it. I can't explain why. It's just something that all of us knew.
Alright, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But I really can't see Haruhi doing that kind of stuff.
At first, we couldn't believe it ourselves either. No one could wrap their heads around the possibility that, thanks to one girl, the whole universe changed, or maybe it was created. And on top of all that, it's like there was nothing here that's special enough to hold her interest. That's the scary part about it.
Why scary?
I told you. If you had the power to create the universe at will, you'd also have the power to destroy this world. Then you could rebuild it and do whatever you want with it. If that really happened, it would mean the end of everything as we know it. Although if it does happen, we have no way of knowing that it even happened. Then again, maybe something like that has happened before. You never know. Perhaps the universe has been destroyed and rebuilt lots of times already.
Look, why don't you just tell Haruhi what you really are? I'm sure if she found out that Espers were real, she'd be ecstatic. Then maybe she wouldn't think about changing the world.
Well, there's a problem with that. if Miss Suzumiya finds out about us espers and then starts thinking that our powers are like some common occurrence, the world would be knee-deep in espers, and every law of physics would get twisted up like a garden hose. The entire universe would fall into chaos.
If you guys exist because Haruhi wished it, then why isn't she aware of it? I mean, don't you think that's strange?
Not really. There's a part of her that wished for aliens and espers and time travelers to be real, but she's also got a practical side that thinks those things are impossible. She's conflicted between the two. Yes, she does and says things that are eccentric, but in reality, Miss Suzumiya is just an ordinary human with a good sense of what's real and what's not. In junior high, her energy was like a sandstorm, but in the past few months, it started to calm down. I'd prefer it if she stayed calm, but now we need to face the fact that she's creating a new tornado.
What do you mean?
Hate to say it, but it's your fault.
What do I have to do with this?
What are you talking about? You're the one who gave her the idea to form this strange club. Because of the conversation she had with you, Haruhi decided that she'd create a club filled with all sorts of weird people, didn't she? Therefore, you are responsible for this. And because of that, a member from each of the 3 groups that are interested in what Haruhi Suzumiya is doing are now conveniently gathered together in one place.
So I'm the scapegoat.
Well, actually there's more to it than that. I hate to say this after dragging you all this way out here, but if you'd prefer to go back, it's not too late.
You gotta be kidding me.
Alright then, so could you do me a favor and close your eyes? It'll only take a couple of seconds.
Do you have to hold my hand?
Okay, open them. The gap between dimensions, separate from the world we know. Completely closed space. And in the middle of this crosswalk is the wall for this closed space. It's about 5 kilometers wide, and normally there isn't any physical way of entering this space. But that's one of the powers I have. That is, when the conditions are right. If you can picture a dome that's been plopped down over the city, well, we're standing right in it. As we're in here talking, life goes on as normal in the world outside the space. But normal folks wandering in here, well, that doesn't happen too often. Now, closed space is created completely at random. Sometimes they pop up every other day. Sometimes you won't see one for a couple of months. One thing's for sure, though. Whenever Miss Suzumiya gets emotionally unstable, it creates a space like this, somewhere. I can sense when closed space is created, and I know where to go to find a door to get in. My powers aren't limited to finding these things and getting into them. You could say that my powers somehow reflect upon the things within Miss Suzumiya's consciousness. So if this closed space is a pimple that appears on Miss Suzumiya's spirit, we espers are the acne medication.
You know, your metaphors are hard to understand.
Yeah, I get it a lot. And you sure are something. I mean, here you are seeing all this, but you don't seem surprised.
I've seen a lot of strange things already.
Oh, there's something else I wanted to show you. Last thing, I promise.
I don't think anything's gonna top that.
Once us espers get rid of the giant, the bubble of closed space disintegrates. And it's quite the spectacle.